So let's get started and see how we can, fabricate this triangle, this polygonized surface here. So before you want to get started, there's one little thing I want to show you, and that is actually you can always reduce a mesh. So you can go here, reduce mesh, and you see that currently it is 30 polygons. And let's say you want to reduce your workload a little bit. You can always press on preview, check it, and then you see it further abstracted it. So again, this reduced now in this case to 34. I guess there was a problem with the 35th thing. You might have to go back into the modeling a little bit. It's definitely worth to check it, but it looks okay for now. And then let's see how to generate a unrolled surface pattern from that. So what you want to do is you want to create a mesh you want to create a NURB surface, a poly surface. So if you press OK, you see there were these lines added, and now if you click here, you see there's a poly surface and a mesh. Let's hide the mesh for now. If you click here on the light bulb, and then you see there are all these extra lines, which are actually the ISO curves. We can hide them. And what you want to do now, it should be the same faces dimensions as the previous model, so you don't have to check that. You cannot turn on control points for this kind of poly surface. So let's unroll it. So you type unroll, and again you might be able to find that command somewhere over here, but I'm not that sure. I got so used to typing the commands that I kind of forgot where you might find. Okay, there's mesh, flatten surface, unroll, developable. Okay. And then you have some options. You can explode it, which you don't want to do, because in this case, maybe I show it to you. You keep properties. Actually, I don't even know what that does. But if you explode, you see it will create every triangle as a single triangle. So you see how it created all these single polygons. Obviously, that would make it very hard to really join them together. Let's delete these objects. We have to do it manually somehow. Doesn't work. So instead, what we could do is we could unroll surface, and instead of explode, we could do it like this. So you see everything, like wherever it's possible or where it makes, from the computer's perspective, makes sense, it kept things connected. You see there are all these extra curves again. Let's go here, and in properties, here you have to select properties. If you don't see that, you can always get that over here, or just by typing properties, and you want to deselect the ISO curves. So this is now this kind of geometry, but unrolled in a flat way. And you might want to readjust that a little bit. Let's go to the top view, because you see there are things happening like this here where it's a little bit overlapping, or you might think of a better way to connect them. Actually, you know what? Let's move this a little bit and also have one last look at the unroll command. There's also something called labels, and you see that would create these labels which indicate to you where things have to be connected. So for instance, here 7 has to go to this 7 over here, and you see 6 goes over here. So you kind of get the idea that probably it will fold around this. 1 has to connect to this, 6 goes over here, and then 7 over here. So that might even help further. And actually, let's see, select dots. These are not text objects, these are dots. So we can select them like this, and we can put them onto a different layer. So we have the possibility to turn them on and off. And then you see this whole thing, so we can actually delete that. Let's keep this information here. And yeah, what you want to do now is you want to ungroup that, and you want also to explode this one here, so you can really work with it. And again, turn off the ISO curves. So now you can select all the single surfaces. So what you can do, for instance, you can take it apart, because you have to print it, let's say. You want to move it apart and put that onto a different sheet of paper. And maybe same goes for another place. Oops, here we should move the 34 over here. So this could be one block, and that's actually, it looks like quite well for fabrication. You could consider to take, for instance, this piece. Let's group it and then move it over here. R2, let's rotate it. Yeah, could also make a lot of sense in here, yeah? So this becomes a little bit more compact, this becomes a little bit more compact. So what you would have to do is to really find spots where it might make sense to readjust things a little bit. So for instance, this here again I could see as one block, and then this might be the other one. Actually, does anyone find the other 46? Ah yeah, over here. Could be one way to go about this, to maybe join this here. Let's have one more try. We group that and we move it over here and rotate so it plugs in here. Yeah, can also make sense. Yeah, so that's a little bit how you have to prepare things for fabrication, and then again you would need to distribute these things onto layout plans in order to print these. But first thing you have to do is really to reorganize this thing, so you can minimize the cuts kind of, and yeah, things can actually make most sense for you. So for instance, here you could also think if you wanted to connect it here, because you say maybe this is a harder cut. Let's actually do that. So again, we rotate that, because you say maybe it's easier if we do this kind of cut. And then having said that, maybe it's even more easy if we rotate this as well, so we don't have such a long cut. I mean, you would still have to slice that depending on your material, or if you wanted to laser cut, I would engrave things. So the interior, the non-naked edges, you would engrave them, and everything else you would cut, for instance. And one thing you have to notice also, this software doesn't indicate to you if you have to create a fold or a valley or a hill in these folds, because these are the folds. Yeah, let's remember, and let's go to perspective. You see how this is perfectly flat now, and here you see this is a hill and this would be a valley. This drawing doesn't indicate that for you. If you wanted to have a little bit help with that, you needed a different software, or you would have to go and really check that. It's always good to have this file open and have a look at it, and you could indicate that in the drawing, for instance. One more thing I want to mention is that you have also the possibility to add flaps here. So you have to imagine you probably have to glue these things. So one way of going about that is before you print it, you actually add these little things here. Yeah, I mean, this was done not very precise now, but let's say you go like this, offset, and then you can really specify. So you want to have it parallel. Actually, we can even, let's say you want it 5 millimeters. Oh, this is 5. Maybe 0.3 is good enough. So like this, then you can obviously delete this part and create this. Join that. And now you could, again, go along wherever you think you might need that. So you can do that on both sides of the 35, for instance, and rotate it again. And then, yeah, obviously these are the same length, but you can take the same part, copy it, place it here on the 50, select, rotate around this point, bring it over here, and now you want to, now you actually want to select these 2 points, move, and move it over here. And again, you could take the same, find the other 50, which is over here, very nearby, again R2, and bring it over here. And you would add these on all open edges, and in some cases you might figure that you maybe don't need both of these flaps, but it's a good way. It's a little bit of extra work, but definitely worth the effort. So I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, let me know if you have any questions or comments. Just get in touch with me, and yeah, I hope you can use that to fabricate your thing. Thank you very much.